Oh hi, it's Bukai. So today we've got another video guide for you everybody today on IdleOn, where we're going to show you how to beat the World 2 boss and a different guide and how to do a little bit of cheesy tactics and whatnot in order to beat him. I'm going to be using a Squire, considering that's the best guy that I've got that's reached him so far. In order to use the keys here, you either need to get a key through the post office or you need to beat this guy's multiple quests in order to get multiple keys a day. Now, his quests are annoying. They're long. It takes like 8,000 of a certain item in order to unlock it. And you also need to then beat like 30,000 Moonmen or something ridiculous like that. But once you have beaten that, you will then get a key per character per day on that guy. So without further ado, we're going to enter in and use one of our 2 remaining keys into the Efaunt's tomb. And at first guide, this looks intimidating, considering if you look at him, he's spawning fire everywhere, he's shooting lasers at you, and, you know, they're dealing a decent chunk of damage. So clearly you don't have a lot of defense on this against this guy. And so what you're relying on is either food, so carry a bunch of kebabs into this battle, or carry enough hit points that you can just ignore it and shrug off his damage. Now, going down to his card here, if I scroll all the way down, you can also see my equipped build. It's the same build that I am using for my Squire build that's in the link below. Now, underneath his card, he needs 1.1k accuracy to hit, or 1.163. I'm currently sitting at 1.33. Now, watch closely each of his hands. They'll each do something unique, like this one's currently bouncing up and down, spinning around, and then it stops and flicks its hand up and down like it's a gun. And it will shoot all the way across the platform, dealing like 61,000 damage. It will one-shoot you. This hand here is the other one to watch out for. Once he stops moving, he'll then reach forward and touch you, and if he does, he'll do 61,000 damage and you will die. The only other hand that you need to watch out for and pay attention to is this hammer. This hammer, depending on your defense, can one-shoot you, depending on your hit points as well. For me, it deals about 300 damage on there, and my defense is sitting at 185. So that's a little bit low. I'm used to having a slightly higher defense, and even if I flick that on, it's still... Oh yeah, that's damage reflect, not actual defense on there. So yeah, it takes a bit to actually take down on there. And so just pay attention to them. Run up here to start, and the neat thing with the Squire is that if I press this ability here, run away from his sword when he lifts up his hand, is that it actually can hit the other hand on the other side. And when they start going grayscale, that hand is dead. So you can actually cheese this hand multiple ways. On the Squire, the easiest way is to use the shockwave and hit it from across the actual field. Same thing with your boomerang. Standing here, you can hit him with both skills, and that one has died. The other way that you can do it with other classes, such as a shaman, is you stand here and you throw your cocktails up at the top, blowing up the hand from underneath. With a barbarian, you use your bear swipe, swinging at it from underneath, and that's how you kill him that way. Now, the next hand I go after is I go after this one here, because it's not really that deadly, and the boomerang can hit this top hand there, so I'm able to deal a little bit of chip damage to it. Now, it's here that you might want to bring a tier 1 bow onto your actual bar, because it will outrange this hand. If you don't, you can always cheese it, like I said, using the same tactics of bear swipe, gorilla tactics, but just pay attention when it stops moving like this and reaches forward and touches. Because if it touches you, you'll die. It's that simple. And sometimes he'll chain it twice, so don't just run in when you see the hand stop moving. And if you are risking it, run forward and beat it down and run away as fast as possible. Now that you've done 3, or technically on my end, 4 out of the 5-6 hands on there, what you want to do is I run up to try and take down the hammer as fast as possible. Now, the hammer will spin around when he's ready like that, and I'm risking it to try and hit it. And what he'll do is he'll slam on this platform, and then he'll slam on this platform, dealing a ton of damage. This last orb, you mostly can ignore. He's the one that spawns all of the fiery pillars on this ground, and you can see them. At my hit points, you can ignore it. Once the hands are down, Efaunt is almost a joke. If you don't have the defense or the hit points in order to tank through Efaunt, then what you need to do is just basically back off, let your heal go on, and go back in when you're ready on there. He's not really that painful anymore once you've got him down to this point. I find that Amarok was more of an annoyance, simply considering the amount that he could heal, despite the fact that I think his heal's been nerfed like to oblivion now. But yeah, this is how you beat a World 2 boss on there. He's not too difficult. I find that he's a fairly decent farm on there, and the more you kill him, the more you can unlock the World 2's boss armor, and I can show you guys that in my, if I go down to quick reference, Anvil, might as well hit produce while I'm there, tab 2, and yeah, this is how much of a joke the boss is on there, where I can just kill him while looking through the tabs, and what did we get? Absolutely nothing, but we got one of the little boss tab things on there. So, Codex, Anvil, tab 2, and I will show you some of the Efaunt gear. So the Efaunt's broken anklets, what he gives you is a high amount of defense and plus percentage movement speed. It does require plat boots to build, so the question is whether the high amount of defense that you're going to get is worth the plus 5% defensive boost cost of the plat boot. Now, I'd argue that it can be, but it really depends. I would say for the boot, yeah, it's worth it to get the movement speed, because the movement speed is worth extra killing points later on. That's your biggest bottleneck, and this way you no longer have to wear your flip-flops if you're trying to get your movement speed. And you have 6 upgrade slots, and by the time the good old-fashioned World 3 comes out on the 22nd, supposedly, you can put in the Tier 3 stones on there, making it a really good investment. Now, the Efaunt pants are a really good pair of pants if you don't have the rune plate. If you don't have the rune leggings, they're 32 defense, which if you look at the Amarok ones, which are 28 with full max on there, it's a very useful piece of gear on there. And it also has 6 upgrade slots. And I believe it is still better than... It does cost a lot of distilled water. That's the one catch. Now, it's better than the actual Platinum Shins, just raw stat-wise. But, again, if you have the rune pants, which you get from the King Doot, it's better off to go for it that way. Now, the Efaunt Ribcage gives you 4% Mastery, which is your actual minimum damage. This is the one that you really want to farm for, but it costs 10 Midnight Cookies. And Midnight Cookies are a very rare drop, and if I go down to cards and click on him, it's a 1 in 15 chance to get a Midnight Cookie off of him. And he can also drop the Midnight Cookies off of, I believe the Moonmen drop them rarely. Yeah, 1 in 334 will drop the actual... Well, 1 in 334 of the 286 will drop one. So that there is the Efaunt boss on there. I hope that this was actually useful for people and helps them in order to get ready for the World 3, as the Efaunt boss isn't too difficult to take down as long as you have the stat sticks to beat him on there. Make sure you bring your Pugilist rings, considering you get your 4% boss damage, and you can buy those from the World 1 shop. So if there's anything I can do to improve, can you guys just let me know in the comments below, and if this did help you guys out, just don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It would really help out. So, take care, everyone.